one of those little oil heaters. It's not that bad in here, actually. It's not bad at all. It's 25 degrees outside. It's 4:55, almost 5 o'clock in the morning here. It's not that I'm having trouble sleeping. It's that I'm having trouble sleeping extended periods of time. It's happened a few times. Usually it doesn't happen to me. Usually when I go to bed, I'm in bed, but I guess probably went to bed probably got about 5 hours sleep, which is not enough, but so now I'm up. I've been up since like around 3. But there was this thing, Copenhagen Climate Summit, 1,200 limos, 140 private planes. That says something. It doesn't say a tremendous amount, but it does say something. And there's this other story, which I'm going to put a link to. In 1975, U.S. government pushed the coming ice age. So I'll go ahead and click on that and copy that from Forbes magazine. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you to think about these big emergencies that people have, governments have, and special interests have. I don't know why they were saying it was the coming ice age. I was 24, 25 years old at that time, and I really can't remember that much about it. Although there was someone in the comments who were talking about how they were saying that LA was going to be underwater and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's just these kind of things. I mean, it's good to be cautious about these kind of things, because if it actually comes to that, then it's going to be too late to do anything about it. So I'm not poo-pooing the whole thing about climate change, but there has to be a certain amount of skepticism in dealing with these kind of things, because we've had the world pulled over our eyes multiple times, and in this case of this ClimateGate thing, if people were actually manipulating the data to make it look like what they want it to look like, then that's more like fraud rather than an honest mistake. And I'll tell you about an honest mistake that happened, and I remember this. I can't remember the date. I think it was in the early 80s. I'm pretty sure it was in the early 80s, so with the AIDS epidemic. So when AIDS happened, and it came out, people were freaked out. I mean, this was something that was happening now. It wasn't like climate change is going to happen in 50 years or 100 years or 10 years or 5 years. AIDS was happening right now, and people saw it. And people were freaking out because there were people starting to die from this. And all kinds of things were happening. And so people were asking questions like, well, can you get AIDS from a toilet seat? And the medical community said, no, you can't get AIDS from a toilet seat, because the AIDS virus cannot live outside the body. Oh, everybody, big sigh of relief, right? So there was this young woman. She was young. She could have been about 18, 19 years old. Anyway, she comes down with AIDS. She's a virgin. A medically proven virgin. So they start looking into finding out what's going on with her. Well, come to find out, she, along with some others, if I'm not mistaken, you have to do your own research, as I always say, had AIDS within that area. And what did they all have in common? They're dentists. But the medical community had come out and said that the AIDS virus cannot live outside the body. But she was infected with AIDS because of her dentist, working in close proximity with her mouth and tissue and blood and all kinds of stuff. So he breathed on her, he spit, some saliva got into her, or it came from the dental tools he was handling or something. And she got AIDS and she died. So the situation with the medical community saying the AIDS virus cannot live outside the body, to me, is an honest mistake. But the situation with this ClimateGate, if these people are intentionally manipulating the data to make it look like what they want it to look like, this is not an honest mistake, and this is fraud. I'm hellorodney. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.